Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Ruger Glock 19. Ruger RXM Glock 19. So this is the new handgun that Ruger collaborated with Magpul. They did their frame and Ruger did everything else on this. And we're gonna break this thing down. So this thing is based off of the Gen 3 Glock 19. And you're gonna see a ton of similarities, but also some nice new additions as well. And when you're going to do a clone like this or build a gun based off of something like a Glock 19, it has to do something better or it has to be cheaper. And honestly, this kind of does both, which we're gonna break down here in this video. So this is not a full review because I've not had over 1,000 rounds through it yet. I just got this in from Brownells, but I have about 300 rounds through it. So this is a first looks to give you guys a quick dive into this, go over all the parts real quick, my initial thoughts and my impressions, and kind of go over some of the issues that we had with this that might kind of make this not so great of an option. So let's just do a brief 30-second intro on this thing. You've got an incredibly cool optic platform on here where you don't necessarily need a plate for 3 different styles of optic, the RMR, the Delta Point Pro, and the Shield RMS footprint. So you have a lower sitting red dot because you don't have to deal with plates, which is cool. And then the serialized part is not the frame. So Magpul's able to churn out a bunch of different styles of frames, lengths of frames, and maybe different grip textures, colors, and you can change those out interchangeably because the serialized part is actually internally with your trigger group. So you can change it out. It's like a centralized serialization, which is really cool because the options to be able to customize this later down the road are much bigger with this setup. And if you chew up your frame or something happens or you go to stipple it and you wildly destroy it, you can just buy a new frame that's much cheaper, throw it on there, and you don't have to deal with anything with the FFL. Out of the box, a lot of the parts that come with it are very nice. It kind of ruined the grip by making that chunk off the back there. Obviously, I know why they do that because they want to be able to conceal it a little bit better, but when it goes to grips, it kind of takes away, and it takes away too much in my opinion. And we had 14 malfunctions that we need to talk about that we will be breaking down here towards the middle of the video. But before we do that, let's get into my relationship with Magpul and Ruger. I do not work with either of them. They did not send this to me, and I did buy this with my own money. So the people that are incredibly helpful with the channel, the things I do here are Brownells, Shooting Targets USA, and Mountain Ops. Guys, I would love if you guys would see how cool these guys are by going to my website, tacticalvisor.net. That is my website. You'll see how cool Brownells, Shooting Targets USA are. Shooting Targets USA are the ones that I fill my range with, and I have been using their stuff for a while now, and they make really quality stuff, and it's meant to last long. They have stuff that's a little more budget friendly, and they have more stuff that's more expensive that's gonna be a little more solid and be able to shoot higher calibers at, depending whatever you need for your range. Check out Shooting Targets USA. Go to my website, tacticalvisor.net for more information on that. And Mountain Ops. Guys, I use this stuff for whenever I go hunting, I'm going biking, I'm going out cutting wood. Anytime I'm going out doing anything active, I use their protein bars, and their protein stuff on their website is fantastic. Code TA15 is gonna save you 15% off anything on their website. If you're an active person, outdoors person, you're gonna love what they have there, so check them out. Mountain Ops TA15, that'll save you 15% off. Let's get right back into this video. So like I said in the beginning of the video, this has to be better or cheaper. And this kind of does both, which is a really good thing. So the price on this is $399, which I think is a really good price. That's when you're kind of looking at the PSA Dagger price range with something like this. And what it comes with out of the box is what you're gonna look at with that price. Is this a gun that's like something I'll just go to the range and plink with, or is this something I could legitimately trust my life with? And where are the parts that they upgraded with that, and where do they skimp out on that price? Now, what I think they were able to save a lot of money with was with Magpul. Magpul was probably able to make a pretty inexpensive frame. And not in the sense that like it's a cheap frame, like it doesn't work good. It's a very nice frame. It's very comfortable. I really liked it shooting. I just think that Magpul was probably to do it at a much lower cost. So that was probably really beneficial and a great decision on Ruger's part to be able to collaborate with them. Obviously, Magpul doesn't want to do anything serialized. I don't blame them one bit. So it was a great decision to go with that centralized serialization. Now let's just talk about that because I think it's one of the big things that they're doing here. And one of two things I think you're going to see a lot of gun companies changing to. Now in your traditional gun, your frame is what gets serialized. So if you ever want to change anything or anything gets damaged, you have to replace the entire frame, and that's going to have to be an entirely new serialized unit. And that can be incredibly annoying, especially if you need repairs or you want to get something done. It just creates another process that is kind of annoying to do. Now with this, you're able just to have this centerpiece. You can pull that out, that's serialized. So if you want to get your frame stippled, you can send it off. If you want to upgrade or change colors or do anything, or maybe like test some stippling or whatnot, you can do that all and not have to mess with a serialized unit. And I'm positive Magpul is going to be coming out with longer frames, shorter frames, and all the above, ones without dovetails, ones with larger dovetails. You're going to be able to customize these like crazy in the future. I don't know that for a fact. Like I said, I don't work with these companies, but that is what I foresee with what they're doing, because Magpul is a really cool company. They always are innovating. They're always making new things. They have a lot of, what's the word I'm trying to look for? They're solidified. They're established. They're a very established company, and they will be able to do a lot with this, which I'm excited about seeing in the future. Now let's talk about the frame itself. So you've got a nice stippling to it. It is a really happy medium. It's not too aggressive where it's like a competition gun or something I would never want to actually conceal carry, but it's not enough for where this gun's slipping out of my hand. I think they did a really good job with the stippling. Now the one thing I'm really gonna gripe on is why in the world do you cut that out? Like, I get it, I understand, you're trying to maybe take away that footprint for concealed carry. I've seen some 1911s do that, but what I don't like is what you're seeing here is I have pretty small hands, is you lose that gap or that connection between your palm and the gun itself. Now, the mag in there does help a little bit bring some of that back, but to me, I just don't think it's worth the little bit of concealment you save for the grip loss that you're getting. That is my personal preference. Maybe people that have a different grip might not like it or like it better. I don't like that, and I think that was a bad decision. I mean, deep concealment, maybe this is the better option, but I don't like that for the first edition, or the first edition. I wish they would have kind of kept that out, and maybe the next one they would have been like, okay, if you want more concealment, we chop that, gives you more of an option. Now there is a flare to this, not anything aggressive, not anything that's gonna get in your way, but just enough to be able to help when inserting that magazine. Now as for magazines, these are Magpul mags. I don't like PMag pistol mags. These are the first thing I would get rid of. I've had too many issues with them to be able to trust them. Now I know they've changed some things. They probably made them better, and I've tested it with these mags because that's what it came with, so I want to test it with that. But I am not a PMag fan for pistol mags. Rifle mags, they're incredible. They make a lot of really good mags. Their pistol mags, I've just had far too many malfunctions and issues and weird things happen that I can't trust those quite yet until I've been proven otherwise. They've got a slight undercut here. There's not really too much fancies with this. This is a pretty basic design. Now, again, I think you'll see later them getting pretty fancy with it. I think they just wanted to go pretty simple with the first one, and that's where you get that affordability with this, you know, that $399, that didn't go too crazy. Now you've got your same compatibility with your Gen 3 Glock parts, so you know, have that normal left-sided magazine release, nothing ambidextrous on that, but it is a nice cut. So it's a nice cut out there, so it's very easy to access that magazine release. Now for your trigger, I do think it's actually a really nice trigger out of the box. So we'll just show you guys the pull, because everyone really likes that. Really good pull on it. And then we're gonna have a reset. Nothing fancy with the reset. It's kind of a long reset, but we'll go back to the pull. You know, you got your take up, you hit your wall. A very, very crisp pull. And then again, the reset isn't anything too fancy. I'll do a trigger pull gauge for you guys to see that up here. You have a 1913 up front to be able to mount flashlights, and this little guy right here is how you're able to remove the actual trigger group on there. Now moving up to the slide, you have some nice slide cuts. Nothing fancy. It's really chamfered up front on top here, really cut down. And I like that. I think it's nice. It has a good look to it without being overdone. You've got slide cuts on the front and the back to be able to manipulate that slide if you want to. The optics cut is the next thing. That is the second part that I think you're gonna see a lot of companies changing when it comes to their handguns, is this centralized serialization and these optics cuts that really cover a wide variety of footprints. This one covers 3 different footprints, which covers a lot of the optics on the market. Now, obviously, there's a couple that aren't. Now, the Echelon was one of the first to do this that I thought was incredibly cool, where you just take the plungers and you put them in different locations and you're able to put different optics on there. This will get an optic for the full review. I just wanted to test it in all of its glory without anything fancy on there yet. That's why I tested it exactly this way. I wanted it to be stock with the mags that it was in. I did use Glock mags as well, but I kind of wanted to keep it as it came first before I did too much more. Now, that is a really cool optic system, because a lot of the times the most frustrating part of getting an optic is figuring out what the footprint is. Make sure you have the right mounting bracket, the plate, and the screws, and that can get irritating. With this, it kind of takes that out of it. You just got to put the plungers in the right place, slap the optic on, and you're good to go. And that is the RMR, the Delta Point Pro, and the Shield footprints for your optics. Now, for your iron sights, which are really nice iron sights, and I was very happy with them while shooting these. You've got the blacked out serration back, you've got a little square cut in the back, and then you have that tritium up front. That is my preferred sighting solution for a duty or purpose-driven gun. You know, that serrated back, which is blacked out with just the single dot up front to be able to see. So I do like those iron sights, but as most of you probably will do, we're gonna be throwing a red dot on this. This has the 4-inch barrel on it, and there's something that's a little unique with the barrel cut up here. So you actually have an indicator for your chamber. You're able to look down, straight down the bottom and see if you have a round in the chamber. Now, had some issues with that, and I don't know if it was because of that or just completely irrelevant. I don't know, but we had 4 different times it stovepiped, and it kept getting stuck right in that spot. It was really weird. It was the first one that got stuck legitimately inside of it. You're going to be seeing a bunch of B-roll here, so we might as well go right into this and dive more deep into this since I already gave you kind of a real quick look at the gun itself. But we had 14 total malfunctions in 300 rounds, and I don't like that. That is quite a bit. So we used 4 different types of ammo. We used 124 grain Celeron Ballet, 115 grain Blazer, 115 grain Mark 1, and then the one ammo that we had 0 malfunctions with, and we shot probably about 50 rounds of that, was 147 grain Federal. I don't know if it had anything to do with the ammo or if it was the fact that that was a little bit later in the testing that we didn't have those, because it seemed to get a little bit better as we got further into the round count, but we had a ton of extraction issues. And it was kind of every other, it was weird. It wasn't all like stovepipes and then all the extraction. It was kind of all mixed in between. So the extraction issues worried me a little bit, because even when it would fail to extract it, okay, so I would take it home and then I would try to extract it again and try to extract it again, and that round still would not come out. So there was definitely something going on with that. I'm going to further test this and to be able to update you guys in the full review. If it continues to happen, I'm gonna have to reach out to Ruger and find out if it's a problem with the gun. I broke everything down and I didn't find anything that looked broken or out of place. So I went back down later, did some more testing, and as you'll see from the video, we had more malfunctions. So you're gonna see throughout the whole thing, there's been issues with the shooting, but when it ran really well. The gun felt good. It shot well when it was shooting properly and didn't have any malfunctions. The trigger felt nice. The iron sights felt on, and I felt comfortable shooting the gun. You see the drills that we were doing, and I was happy with that. Now, if we can get these malfunctions to get squared away and kind of broken down, I mean, I understand malfunctions happen. I was really trying to narrow it down. Definitely wasn't a mag issue. We went from Glock mags to Magpul mags. We had, I think, 7 different mags out there, and we're all having the same problem. The only time I could get this gun to work the right way and at a consistent run of 17 rounds without a malfunction was with that 147 Federal. So we will do some more testing to see if maybe the ammo is a little finicky or if it's just something else that's going on. But I will keep you guys updated with that. But I wanted to get a first looks video at least to show you guys what the gun looks like, give you a really quick first impression along with letting you know there has been some issues on my end. Now, important question people are going to ask me is holster compatibility. I was putting this in all my Glock 19, Glock 17 holsters with no issues. It seemed to work. I'm sure there might be like 1 or 2 that are really molded and form-fitted that might not work because of the trigger guard. That would probably be the only thing I can see causing a problem. But everything I put it in, I was running in a Glock 17 holster the entire time I was out there. That's the new Alien Gear level 2 holster that I was running out of, and I had no problems. Another thing I want to mention that I kind of forgot about is you do have a nice little dovetail there. Me personally, I've never had issue with slide bite. It's probably because I have like skeleton hands. I don't have a lot of meat to like actually bite, but I know a lot of people that do, and they're gonna like that addition. So you do have a nice little dovetail on the end of that gun. But I'm just hoping this was able to help you guys make a better purchase decision to decide if this gun is exactly what you're looking for, because it has some really nice features and the price point is there. I mean, that is a good price point for everything you're getting with this gun. Or maybe based off of some of the things you saw, you kind of want to hold off and see what happens during the full review. That's always my goal, to help you spend your money in the best way possible. If you're looking to help out the channel and the things that you hear, going to tacticalvisor.net. That is my website. That is one of the best ways you can do it. Unfortunately, I can't share a lot of information here on YouTube and tell you more detail, so you're just gonna have to go over there and see a lot of that. But I appreciate you guys doing that. That is a big help. I appreciate all the companies that are involved and very helpful. Brownell, Shooting Targets USA, Mountain Ops, also Howitzer Clothing. They donate 5% proceeds to charity, and they have a Tactical Visor shirt, and that is super cool, and you guys can pick one up in the description. I have a Locals account where you're able to get exclusive content, behind the scenes content, and a lot of other stuff that we can't talk about. Go check that out, link in the description. I have a Telegram where I share a lot of really cool things on there as well. Once again, who would have guessed? Surprise, surprise, I can't share it here on YouTube. So there's a lot of other channels that I'm posting posting. I'm also on 10 different social media platforms that I'm posting on daily. So I would love for you guys to peruse all those, see what you see if you guys want more content. If you enjoy the content I'm doing here, subscribing, liking, sharing, being interactive in the comments is so helpful. And I appreciate all those things. Thank you guys so much.